53rd Annual I.S.U.P.K. 53rd Annual Lord's Passover.
Hey, Shalom, Israel. This is I.S.U.P.K. down in Florida. I'm capping the 10,000 Shemoyah. We here to let you know. 53rd Annual Lord's Passover is going to be held down here in Florida. It's going down in South Florida, Cocoa Beach.
Friday, April 15th, 2022.
The lamb, the wine, the brotherhood, the sisterhood, you understand? Good music, good weather, palm trees, the whole nine.
This is going to be glorious. Book your hotels now at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites, 301 Tucker Lane, Cocoa Beach, Florida, 32926.
April 15th and the 16th. Don't just book for the 15th. Book for the 15th and the 16th.
It's going down Friday, April 15th at the Space Coast Convention Center.
Moses told Pharaoh we need 3 days to be able to go out into the wilderness and serve our power the way he commands. You're going to have to get that off with your boss, with your slave master. So make sure you in the building, Cocoa Beach, Florida. April 15th to 16th, 2022 is going down. We'll see y'all there. Shalom.
144,000. I'm just trying to make 144,000. 144,000. I'm just trying to make 144,000.
Shalom, Yahweh Shem Yahshua Thumb to all the brothers, Yahweh Shemar with Thumb Shem Yahshua to all the sisters. We are the I.S.U.P.K. Canada under Commanding General YAHANNA, started on 1969, and since 1969 we've been teaching Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans that we are the Israelites of the Bible. We've been fixing the Black, Hispanic, and Native American household since 1969. The Christian church is not fixing us, it has failed us. Right, so we're about to start right now. Give me one moment. Passover is coming up. Don't forget to pre-order your corsages, sisters. We're going to, I'm going to drop the link for you right now. Give me one moment. I'm going to drop the link for you right now. Shalom, Officer Shariwan. How you doing? You're on mute. You're on mute, Doc.
Well, Salak, everyone. Shalom, Yabashim Shabbat. Everything's too wild, by the one.
Give me one moment. I'm just posting this link. All right, I dropped the link in. It's in there. We're about to start. One second. Gotta get the others about you out of there. So that one should be done. Right. So where we left off yesterday, we were in the book of Esther. We were talking about an honorable sister, right? A sister that's so different from the sisters that we have today in the world, right? A sister who's very much like the sisters that we have today inside the school. Right? Shalom Aliyah, Yahweh Shem Yahshua. Right? That's what we're remembering. Today we're closing the feast of Purim, right? Yesterday we were all gathered together. We're still gathering today in many of the schools across the UPK, many of the homes across the nation. We're still gathering today, being brotherly and sisterly. And yesterday was the history class, so we broke down history. Right? We broke down the history, our history. The history that they try to tell us civil rights is our history. Civil rights is a part of history, but that's not a good time in history for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, right? With civil rights, we are on the front line. Every other nation got the benefits of it. The Asians got a bill and they didn't have to march. They didn't have to do a million Chinese man march. right? But there was a 1,000,000-man march full of black people, right? Thinking that we were getting civil rights. Here's the. I'm gonna wake y'all up because y'all live in a fairy tale, right? There is no such thing as civil rights, right? Someone's always greater. There's no such thing as equality. Someone's always greater. And as we go throughout this book, we find out that there's no such thing as equality in this book. The Israelites were always greater, and they're always going to be greater. They're always going to be the nation that's supposed to be in power, right? We've fallen from the state that we were supposed to be in. We were in such a prestige state, and now we're the heel, right? Trying to fight the head of the oppressor, right? So Shalakia, we're gonna get into it. Let's get into the book of Esther. Where were we yesterday? We were at Esther. Officer Shari One, can you bring us to the book of Esther, chapter 3, and we'll start at verse 9.
Come.
Hold up, let me catch up with you right 1 second. All right, Esther 3, verse 9.
Come. It's the book of Esther, chapter 3 and verse 9. If it please the king, let it be written that they may be destroyed.
Right. So this is our oppressor. Our oppressor, he's doing everything that he's always done. He just wants to kill blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. They've always wanted to kill us. And that's why they've gone around the nation, around the whole earth on a campaign to destroy us. Right. From crack cocaine in our community, heroin in our community, 2,000 guns that just go missing in the city of Toronto, right? To abortion, to the Christian church, to Michael Luther King's stupid nightmare, his lust of white women, and us being hand in hand with the same people that are trying to murder us daily, right? And that's the history of what we're going through, right? And all throughout this story, we're gonna read about a sister, an honorable sister who wasn't tortured. A sister, she didn't have the love for Africans, right? She didn't have the love for Tommy Egan, right? That's a little power reference, right? Because there's always a campaign to destroy blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Right now, they're going to do it with the new series for Power Force, right? Where they're gonna have Tommy. I believe he's riding around somewhere in Chicago, right? First episode starts off, he's supposed to be sleeping with his sister, and that's what they want to portray to our sisters, right? They always do this. You have a dishonorable daughter like Serena and Venus Williams. Those are dishonorable daughters.
Right.
Their father disliked the oppressor, as he should, because they've never done nothing to him, nothing for him, right? He had to go to bat with the oppressive media, the oppressor's media, and always coming at his daughters, and he would always defend them. They got into their adult years and started sleeping with that same oppressor that their father was protecting them from. They are dishonorable women. Today we're talking about honorable women, sisters like Salakia, like the sisters in the UPK, right? And in this moment, you have a man who's trying to kill the nation, right? He's trying to kill the nation of Israel because one strong brother, one honorable brother, right? He showed brotherhood to his nation. He had guile. Salakia, not guile, but he was just a strong man, right? A righteous brother. He wasn't going to bow down to the nation that hated him. He knew that this nation was supposed to be put to death a long time ago, and Saul had done his job. Keep reading.
Come. I will pay 10,000 talents of silver to the hands of those that have the charge of the business.
Right. So he would pay 10,000 talents of silver, right? Which is that's the equivalent of 342,000 kilograms of silver. All right. You work that out in today's number, that would be, Salakia, 1 second, 300 million, right? 385 million. All right, and the number it keeps going. There's other numbers, but the round number is 385 million in Canadian. That's what was put on our head. This man hated us so much, he was willing to put a fortune up to have our head. This is the same thing the oppressor did to our brothers, the tribe of Gad, the so-called North American Indian. He would go head hunting for them. That's why if you've ever been to a gun range, right, especially in those good old boy towns where they have gun ranges, they still have the old targets, right? And in the center of that target, they have an Indian war chief set, right? They'll have a Native American's head, right, in regalia, right, in a headpiece, something like this. Right, the Native Americans, this is a war scarf. The Native Americans, they would have their headpiece. It would have feathers. It would be beautiful. Just go look at the tribe of Gad right now, the North American Indians, the North American Salakia, the North American Indians, right? So-called Indians. All right, you can keep reading.
To bring it into the king's treasuries. And the king took his ring from his hand and gave it unto Haman.
You could drop that. Jump to verse 13.
Slaki out of one. You said verse 18?
13.
13. Come. And the letters were sent by post into all the king's provinces.
Right. So this is planned genocide. This is a chain link email. This is Salakia. Rakiala, Shalom Yahweh Shem tuning in. Right. This is Salakia. Officer Sharyuan, do you know the website that the Edomites are always on? It's not Reddit, but they go there and they talk about killing blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans.
Salakia, sir,
and
I'm not sure.
All these conspiracies. Salakia. There's a conspiracy website that the Edomites are always on. Hold up, I'm gonna find it, right? But this is planned genocide. This is an email chain link that was sent out, right? If you were to think about it in today's time, he sent out a large text message to a large group of people that were supposed to come and kill us, right? And that's what this man was doing. Keep reading.
Come. To destroy, to kill, and to cause to perish all Jews, both young and old, little children and women, in one day.
Right. So that's what he wanted. He wanted all the Jews killed in one day. That's why he put up such a large sum of money. And they've always put up such a large sum of money for us to be murdered, right? And the website I was talking about, where oppressors, they get online, talk about conspiracies, talk about ways to murder blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. It's QAnon, right? But they put up this man put up a large sum of money, just like the prime ministers do for Planned Parenthood, just like the presidents do for Planned Parenthood. And they go into blacks, Hispanics, and Native American neighborhoods, and they murder our children. And on top of that, right, they will Sharyuan, what's the word? What's the word for? It's like not to say spade, but neutering, right? But it's how they say it for humans, for people. One second, let me get it.
So like, so you're saying for like giving, you said like
It's
giving a
not,
dog its spade?
no. I'm looking for a word for like when they purposely. The word I'm looking for, it's right in the back of my mind. When they purposely make sure like a sister can't have a child or a brother can't have a child, get a sister pregnant.
Oh, concert. Um, yes, like it's on the tip of my tongue too. I want to say mutilate, but
Right.
that's not the word. Um,
One second. We're gonna find it right now. That's it. I was just watching it and they were saying it so much in the Martha 21 video documentary about Margaret Sanger's plans for genocide in the Black, Hispanic, and Native American community. And it was something they did to sisters a lot, making sure they couldn't get pregnant. Hold up.
Slack the other one.
God.
To make a woman sterile.
Right. That's what they do in our neighborhoods, right? They come through with their Planned Parenthood and they sterilize. They've done it before, right? They're still doing it, and sisters, so many brothers and sisters get lost in the world to a point where they don't have a voice, right? In the UPK, we're your voice, right? Commanding General YAHANNA has been your voice since the 80s. He's a righteous leader. He raised up, he created General Muhammad, right? And
Right.
those are our forefathers in this truth, right? You can keep reading, verse 13.
Even upon the 13th day of the 12th month, which is the month Adar, and to take the spoil of them for prey.
Right. They wanted to take the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans for prey. They something that's happening now. So you can see how the Bible then matches with now. But we had a sister, and she showed sisterhood. We say brotherhood is a weapon, right? And we know that brotherhood encompasses sisterhood. Sisterhood is a weapon too. And this sister, she she showed excellent sisterhood, right? She showed excellent sisterhood, not like so many sisters in the world, right? This brother Mordecai, he showed excellent brotherhood for his people, not like so many brothers in the world and all these fake camps that they'll talk about you and they just don't want to be brotherly, right? They know they're in the wrong and they should have came home a while back, right? But they don't want to be brotherly. So they're out there making a mockery of our traditions, right? You could go back and watch the old tapes. Just type in ISUPK and look for the oldest videos. You'll see the men who came before us without fringes on shirts, right? You'll see the men who came before us. They didn't have Africans in camp with them, right?
Right.
They didn't have Africans in camp with them trying to get boot kisses.
Good night.
Good night, right? You can keep reading.
Come.
Salaki, that was the end of 14, of 13. But as we were saying, right, the other nations have always took us for prey. They've always been the beast of the field. And our oppressor, the Caucasian man, he's the most subtle beast of the field, a slithering serpent. Salakia, you could jump to at the end of 13. You can jump to chapter 4, verse 8.
Come. Also, He gave him the copy of the writing of the decree that was given at Shushan to destroy them.
Right. So he was giving out copies of this thing. He was sending that message everywhere. He wanted it done. Listen, what's a way they send a message to kill us? Now, I'm about to blow your mind, right? Because this is done today. I'm about to absolutely blow your mind. And for the lust of money, our own people participate in the message being sent around the world for us to destroy, for us to be destroyed, right? And that's in the way of form of acting, right? Outside, okay, so a lot of people might not know this, right? Everybody around the world pays attention to the culture coming out of the West.
Right.
Who, Baraki Allah or Officer Shariwan or Baraki Allah, what is the most dominant culture coming out of the West?
Salaki, other one.
Huh.
That's the culture of the Israelites, or the so-called
Right.
Negro.
Right. The culture of the Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans is the most dominant culture around the world, right? And everyone's paying attention to it. So much so that somewhere in Japan, they're having reggae parties and dancing like Benjamites. Good night. I've seen it on World Side. I was gonna post it, but it's just too much. I was like, good night. This is too much, right? But they're acting like us. And now what I'm saying is the way they send a message for us to be destroyed, the whole earth looks at the TV coming out of the West. On TV coming out of the West, the black man is a gangster, an animal, a super predator, in the words of Hillary Clinton, right? Cockroaches, in the words of Joe Biden, right? And they watch this and they see us as that. What they see on TV is how they view us. Never met a black man in their life, but they think of us as criminals, right? And on the flip side, sisters are portrayed as whores and bed wenches, right? Sisters are portrayed as something to be used and abused and thrown away like a tissue, right? But in our history book, we have honorable sisters like Esther, right? Who didn't care if she lived or died when it comes to helping her people. But we're gonna get more into that, right? So that's what this man was doing. He was making sure that letter got everywhere, just like they make sure the image of a black man being a criminal or the image of a black woman being a dishonorable sister goes around the world. A sister laid up with a white man, with our oppressor, that's gonna go around the world and get praised, right? A black man who stays with his wife, right? Who raises his family, who doesn't commit crime, right? That's not getting praised. They're not gonna look at that. You can keep reading.
Come. To show it unto Esther, and to declare it unto her, and to charge her that she should go in unto the king. To make
Salakia, where are you?
Salakia on verse 8.
Verse 8. Okay, Salakia. Okay, keep reading from where you were.
Come, sir. To show it unto Esther, and to declare it unto her, and to charge her that she should go in unto the king.
Right. So this is Mordecai now, right? He's given a copy of this letter to one of the gate people, right? Because he was always going up to the gate like a good father, like a good brother, a good uncle, a good cousin, a good family member, right? Who loved someone, who wanted to make sure they were good, who checked up on them daily, right? Your brothers and sisters in the world, they don't check up on you at all. In the UPK, we check up on each other almost every other day, right? Listen, I spoke to Barack Allah yesterday for about like 20 minutes after I got in. I hung up the phone. I thought of something that was really funny. I called Barack Allah back. Oh, I think we were on the phone for almost another hour. Cracking jokes. Barack Allah said, sisters, don't be like Tommy Salakia. He said, sisters, don't go for Tommy Egan. It's against the law. Give that keeper a hand. Don't go for Tommy Egan. It's against the law. Right? The Lord hates it. He doesn't like it. Right? Keep reading.
Okay. And to make requests before him for her people.
Right. He wants this letter to get to Esther so she can go to the king because she has favor with the king to request for the safety of her people. Right. And this demon, this monster, listen, y'all know Freddy Krueger does exist, right? Jason Voorhees does exist. Mike Myers do exist. They just walk around at your employee. You call them sir. You call them manager. You say, here's my ID, police officer. And that Freddy Krueger in that cruiser, he's looking to kill you in this nightmare called Martin Luther King's dream. Right? Of black people going against their God. Right? Where were we? You can read verse 9.
Come. And Hatak came and told Esther the words of Mordecai.
Right. And Hatak, the king's chamberlain, he went and told Esther the words of Mordecai. Remember, Haman, he wanted this letter to go out. It got out. It even got into the hands of the Israelites. One of these Israelite brothers had favor with the king. Keep reading.
Verse 10. Again Esther spake unto Hatak, and gave him commandment unto Mordecai.
So this is listen. Hatak is basically the cell phone. He was MSN Messenger. Y'all remember that? Y'all might be too young to remember that. MSN Messenger. Y'all remember? You would see a sister in the mall, and you couldn't ask for her number because you might have been in grade 9, you might have been in grade 8, right? And you already know if you dial that number and the voice on the other end has too much bass, you hung up that phone. You did not want to talk to that father. Because he would have told you, like a righteous father, leave my daughter alone. She's too young for all that nonsense. Right? But we would talk to your sister and say, what's your MSN? And she would say, it's prettygirlfly@hotmail.com. And you'd be like, okay, and you type that shit in. Salakia. He was the MSN carrying that message back. Keep reading.
Verse 11. All the king's servants and the people of the king's provinces do know that whosoever, whether man or woman, shall come into the king into the inner court, who is not called, there is one law of his to put him to death.
Right. What Mordecai is asking of this sister could likely get her head cut off. Right? This is a time, there's no divorce court at this time. This is a time of, you don't want that woman, you don't want to take care of her, cut her head off. Many kings that did this. Many Salakia in the what do they call it? The Renaissance. In many of the Renaissance, many French Caucasian kings put their wives to death. Many English kings put their wives to death simply because the Roman Catholic Church told them they could only have one. So to get the other one, they had to have a divorce. This is something that's rampant in our communities right now. The Christian pastor, who's a weak bastard, right? He's telling our brothers and sisters, listen, y'all, you want another husband, you have to divorce your first one. When she's not allowed to divorce her husband, right? He's telling brothers, she's not pleasing you anymore. Get rid of her. When he's not allowed to divorce that sister outside of her committing adultery, right? The water for Commanding General YAHANNA, who was strong enough and so kind enough to hold on to his sword, so we can be able to learn that we're supposed to keep our sisters. We can't. Salakia, sisters, I know this one's gonna hurt. Did you receive that text message yet? Right? You know the one you waited on that reply. You texted him this morning and said, "Hey, baby," and it's still on red. Right? All because you thought love was a box of chocolates. Salakia. Right? You can keep reading.
Come. Except such to whom the king shall hold out the golden scepter.
Right. So this sister is being tasked with a task that can barely be her neck. It can barely be her head on the chopping block. Right? If she dares to even walk in onto this heathen king without being summoned and given the golden scepter. Right? This is a super strong sister. This is a sister that every sister should be watching this class right now. Right? Every sister should be reading this story right now and asking their husbands, asking the men above them, their camp leaders, right, to break this down for them. What is Purim about? Right? Again, you'll have effeminate brothers who don't know how to keep a strong black woman and don't know how to make a strong Salakia. We're not even gonna say make, because a sister in her righteousness, you don't have to make her submit. She's already doing it. A sister raised right is already submitting to a righteous man. In other words, a sister raised right is already submitting to a brother in the UPK. Whether he be a trooper, right? Just learning how to speak, just learning how to walk in this truth, to a general, right? Keep reading.
Come. Salaki. That he may live. But I have not been called to come in unto the king these 30 days.
Right. Now, she's sending this message back. Like, telling him, like, listen, what you're asking me for can very well get me killed. And I haven't been called into it in 30 days. Now, think about what that's telling you. This king, he was busy. He had a bunch of ribs. He had racks of ribs. Where you don't go in onto a sister for 30 days. Right? Keep reading.
Verse 12. And they told to Mordecai Esther's words.
And Mordecai, he got the message. Right? Now let's hear what Mordecai has to say. Right? You could keep reading.
Then Mordecai commanded to answer Esther. Think not.
Mordecai was commanded to answer Esther, right? This is his reply. Keep reading.
Think not with thyself.
He told her, don't be selfish. You're not an individualite. Listen, it's right. A good night, man. I'm independent. Right? That's what they be singing. So like the Destiny Child, they had one. They had a song talking about ladies be independent and Slovakia. Now Beyonce, she got a piece of bun worldwide, right? Brothers and sisters in the world, will understand what I'm talking about, right? To the world, Jay-Z was stepping out on Beyonce and cheating on her. To us, we understood that he just had other women. Now, there was speculation that it might have been a cave, Becky. Good night. That was definitely against the law. If he went and got another sister, well, oh well, right? Harsh reality. Black men, listen, they're warriors. They're conquerors. They conquer and flatten a lot of sisters. Salakia. But he was telling her, think not of yourself. It's so. Every fake camp thinks of themselves.
Right.
Every Christian pastor only thinks of themselves. Every time you celebrate your stupid birthday, like a bitch, like a coward, you only think of yourself, right? Because, Salakia, now watch this. The average person is going to spend about $500 on their birthday. You know how much food that can buy to feed a brother or sister, a child, a baby in need in our kingdom. And Lord knows we need it. They grinded us into dust. You can keep reading.
Think not with thyself
Don't be selfish. Read.
that thou shalt escape in the king's house.
Do you think that because you live up in that mansion, right, that you can only be selfish, right? And listen, these are words that are cutting, right? These are words that are cutting to her. Listen, don't be selfish. Now, again, every celebrity is selfish. They run into their big houses, right? Drive these big fancy cars while their people starve. The oppressor gave them a little money. They might speak out and say the Jews are black, but once their show gets canceled, then they start to put that Jewish man's rod in their mouth like a bitch. Salakia. Right? And it's such a terrible thing to see how weak our brothers and sisters can be. That's why it's such a good thing to give reference to the brothers and sisters that are strong, right? And we're giving honor to a sister that was strong, right? So many sisters in the world right now they're so weak. It's so pathetic to see how our sisters in the world right now, instead of thugging it out with a brother who doesn't make as much money as you'll just cut him off because his money. Listen, he fell on bad times because the whole world hates him. So now he doesn't have a job, right? And you want to degrade him in front of his children, right? Kanye, a black billionaire, he's learning this the hard way. He went and got with that canine that walked around the streets humping anything that had $1 million and wasn't nailed down, for her to turn around and say, I'm the sole provider of my children. That is like a slap in the face to him. That is something every black man who's not a millionaire, every regular brother already knew. The whole world hates us. And even when we do our part, they're going to turn around and say we did nothing for them. Right? You can keep reading.
Come.
Actually, read that last part again one more time.
Come, sir. Then Mordecai commanded to answer Esther, think not with thyself that thou shalt escape in the king's house more than all the Jews.
Right. You think you're just going to escape, right? While your people get murdered. Keep reading.
Verse 14. For if thou altogether holdeth thy peace at this time, then shall their enlargement and deliverance arise to the Jews from another place.
Keep reading.
But thou and thy father's house shall be destroyed.
Right. He said, so he's checking her right now. This is a check. He's telling her, while you sit and do nothing, your people will be destroyed. This speaks to the leadership of the black community right now. Right? All the pastors, all the fake imams, all the fake Catholic priests, all your so-called civil rights leaders who won't do anything for black people, who won't do anything for Hispanics and Native Americans, except gobble up all the money that the oppressor gives them. Right? The black church has taken billions, absolute billions, while the ghetto starves. Right? There should be, with all the money the black churches has taken in, there should be a prestige, right? A prestige neighborhood of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans in every major city.
Right.
There shouldn't be any hungry blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Right? And he's telling her that, listen, you're gonna go up there and not risk your life for us. And you're gonna die like the Sadducees and Pharisees, right? Barak Allah, get me Salakia. I'm looking for a brotherhood precept, right? It's better to give your life for your brother, right? I'm paraphrasing it. It's better to die for your brother. Hold that for me, and as soon as you get it, you can bring it up. One second. Right, get Romans 14 and 8, Baba Kusha. Not that one.
So, Salaki, other one. Did you want John 15:13?
That's the one right there. Rocky Allah, get John 15 and 13, right? And more. This is what Mordecai is telling her. It's better to you better go and die for your people, right? Or you're gonna die for your people regardless. The Sadducees and the Pharisees, they learned this in 70 AD when oppressors, right, the Romans, so-called Italians today, came and took over a black state and killed a black king. Rocky Allah, you can read it when you got it.
I don't know what kind. This is John chapter 15, verse 13. Greater love had no man than this.
There's no greater love than
man...
this. Right? Hold that right there. There's no greater love than this. This is what Mordecai was telling Esther. There's no greater love than you risking your life for your people. Right? Oh, else all your people are going to die, and then there's not going to be any one of us for you to love. That's how brothers and sisters in this school act. We know that the greatest thing we could do for a brother is sacrifice ourselves. Christ sacrificed himself for us. So we got to sacrifice and be a servant to our brothers and sisters. That's what this is. Forget about the rank. The rank does not matter at all. Serve your brothers and sisters. That's what matters. Keep reading.
That a man lay down his life for his friends.
That you lay down your life for your friends. Right? Give your life for your brothers and sisters. That's what's important. That's what we're remembering. A sister who was ready to give her life for her brothers and sisters. Listen, right now, brothers and sisters in the world, they won't even give you $1 to help your cause. Right? They're not willing to do anything. And if you tell them that, listen, it's time for us to separate from our oppressors, right? They're going to be like, why? Listen, your oppressor is not going to give his life for you, but your people will. Right? That was it. Throughout the bracket, all right. Officer Shariwan, what else do we got? Was that the end of 14?
Salak, yes, sir. La'a.
Let's get it.
Come. But thou and thy father's house shall be destroyed.
Right. The house of Israel was going to be destroyed because some fake Jewish man wanted to kill us. Right? Because some American woman wanted us to be. Shariwan, what was that word we looked up before?
Salak, sterile.
She wanted us to be sterile. So she would tell brothers and sisters, if you're trying to get this welfare, we'll give it to you, but listen, we're gonna have to sterilize you. Right? Some sisters didn't even know what was happening. They went into hospitals for procedures and ended up not being able to have children. Now tell us the oppressor, the white man, is not the devil the Bible speaks of. Tell it to us. Show us throughout history that he hasn't gone around the earth and murdered everything. Listen, we don't give a damn about no Hamites, but how do you think he got South Africa? Right? You can keep reading.
And who knoweth whether thou art come to the kingdom or such a time as this?
Right. So again, like who knows? Like he's saying to her, who knoweth whether, right? If you're gonna come to the kingdom, right? Salak, yeah. Let's get to You could jump to 20. Wait, Salak, yeah. What's that?
Salak, we're in chapter 4 and just ended verse 14.
Okay, Khan. Right, we're gonna keep reading to the end of 17. So yeah, I just had a little typo in my notes. Correct that. Keep reading. You can keep reading.
Khan, sir. Verse 15. Then Esther bade them return Mordecai this answer.
God, Barak Allah, get ready with chapter 5, Baba Kashar. Start at verse 2. Get ready with 5 and hold verse 2 for when I come to you. Right? And read that one more time.
Then Esther bade them return Mordecai this answer.
She gave her answer, right? Let's see what this sister's answer was. Now listen. A sister that gets on the internet and gets naked, a sister who twerks on the internet, a sister who doesn't know how to cover up like she has a father, a sister that can perform extremely well in the bed, right? That is not a bad sister. And you know we black people, so we say bad is good, right? Michael Jackson's Bad album was really good, right? But all those qualities that I just said, that is not a bad sister, right? That is a shameless sister. A shameless sister is counted as a dog. Now Esther, she was a bad sister, so bad that we're still talking about it to this day. Now, Aquatian, right? Sisters in the school. This is what you gotta strive for. You gotta strive for us talking about your good works 200 years from now. 1,000 years from now, we're still talking about the good works that you did for your people. Right? Listen, Oprah, I can't think of anything good Oprah has done for black people. I could think of all the good she's done for the Africans, though. All the suburban Caucasian moms that they got a car. right? When Shaniqua in the hood, she needed a car, and Oprah didn't give her one. You can keep reading, Shariwan.
Come. Verse 16. Go, gather together all the Jews that are present in Shushan.
Right? Gather together all the Jews that are present. And this is Iran right now, right? What is known as Iran, where the palace was, right? In that city. Keep reading.
And fast ye for me.
She's telling them to fast, to suffer for her, right? To fast is suffering. Now, if you haven't been through a day of atonement, from sundown to sundown, we didn't eat, we didn't drink water. We got up in the morning, we washed our face and we brushed our teeth, and we made sure not to swallow any water. And we suffered. And when we felt like we were going to cave and crack, like a coward under pressure, like a man with fringes on his shirt, we called our brother, our camp leaders. Sisters called other sisters, spoke to their husbands, their fathers, right? For support. And we suffered together as a nation. Right? And that's what she's asking for right now. Keep reading.
And neither eat nor drink 3 days.
And don't eat or drink for 3 days. Good night. I did it for 24 hours. It was hard. She's telling them not to do this for 3 days. Suffer as a nation. Today's class is brotherhood. That's what she's asking for. She's asking for brotherhood and sisterhood. For 3 days, we're going to suffer as a nation. Keep reading.
Night or day.
From sundown to sundown, you're not going to eat or drink. Keep reading.
I also and my maidens will fast likewise.
Some more.
And so will I go in unto the king.
Salakia, Officer Shaywan. Brakia Allah, keep reading where Officer Shaywan left off. Officer Shaywan, break down the rest of the scripture for a second.
Wakan.
And if you can, you could take it all the way to 17 if I'm not bad.
Come, sir.
Which is not according to the law. If I perish, I perish.
Salaki, one moment. Read that verse from the top, Baba Kasha.
Wakan. Esther chapter 4, verse 16. Go, gather together all the Jews that are present in Shushan, and fast ye for me, and neither eat nor drink 3 days, night or day. I also and my maidens will fast likewise, and so will I go in unto the king, which is not according to the law. And if I perish, I perish.
Khan, Salakia. I'm just looking up that word. Will I go? Wait 1 moment. Keep reading.
Verse 17. So Mordecai went his way, and did according to all that Esther had commanded him.
Salaki, 1 moment. Yeah, Salaki, Officer Zabadi, are you back?
Khan, I'm back.
Khan, we're still at that same part, which is not according unto the law.
Khan, Officer Shaywan, you can read from also. I also and my maidens. Throughout Akim.
Khan, sir.
It was 16.
I also and my maidens will fast likewise.
Right. Right now we're in Esther 4, verse 16, in the middle of the verse, right? She says she wants the nation to fast. She's saying, I'm going to fast, and my servants, my maidens, the women that would be at her hand and feet, right? Because she was a queen now because of her humbleness. Listen, you could now listen, sister. The Christ is king. You're not married to him. I'm not calling you queen. Sorry, you're a princess. That's what you're gonna get from me. You're gonna get aqua or princess, right? Even if you're my rib, you're not. I'm not calling you queen. A brother that calls a sister queen is he's trying to covertly drop them drawers on you, right? He's trying to get your underwear on the floor. That's why he's calling you queen, right? But for because we're reading this story, right? She was known as the queen in this land because a heathen is going to call a woman a queen, right? A brother in the UPK, he's going to call her a sister. He might say that's my rib. He's not going to say that's my queen. His daughter, he's going to say, listen, that's my princess. He's not going to say you're my queen though, because he recognizes that Christ is king, and none of these women are married to Christ. And listen, a lot of you sisters, good night. Christ would have told you you had 10 husbands, and the 20th one that you're with right now is not yours. So I can't Shalom. That's what he would have said to you. He would have said Shalom, right? You think a brother that you turn away when he's trying to get your number could be rude when he's hurt. Listen, Christ's words will righteously cut you, and you'll think that man is rude in speech, but he's extremely wise in knowledge, right? Now she was the queen, and she's going to get her king, right? Not her king like he was her king, but he's the king at the moment because Israel failed to keep the laws. So we go through a time and period where we go through captivity, and our daughters get given to heathens. Now I'm gonna say this, right? For every black man, every black woman, right? Every black man that doesn't want to see some heathen put a heathen baby in his little baby. For every mother who doesn't want to see her son put a Israelite in a stinking heathen womb, right? Like Esau did. Now Esau, he wasn't an Israelite, but he was from the line of Abraham, right? He wasn't supposed to get with no heathen, and when he did, it vexed Rebecca, right? Now, if you don't want to see that, there's only one thing you could do: get in here and keep the law, right? Learn not to give your love to heathens. Keep reading.
Come. And so will I go in unto the king, which is not according to the law.
Now remember, she's risking her life because if she goes in onto the king without getting permission, it could be deadly. Right? Keep reading.
And if I perish, I perish.
She said, if I die, I die. That's such a strong sister. Give that sister a hand. We're reading about her words till today. Such a strong sister. Like the mother of the Maccabees brothers, right? Those brothers who were chopped up, who she told her children, go die like a man.
Right.
And when they asked her, when they asked her, Salakia, they asked her if she was going to eat it, and she laughed at them. And then she kept encouraging her sons to die. Imagine that. Imagine the love that you have for your God. So much so that you know just the taste. Listen, it's just pork. It's not going to kill you, right? That's how they try to sell it to us. It's just pork. The other white meat is not going to kill you. Salakia, Dr. King, he liked two types of white meat. Good night. Salakia. Yeah. Right? They tell sisters and brothers that pork is not going to kill them. Well, it's been killing us. We've been dying because of pork. Right? Because blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans want to eat pork, hug a little crack cocaine in your community. Because you want to eat pork and you want to sleep with heathens, 75,000 sisters are missing in the United States. Right? Because you want to love your oppressors and you want to have beaver wars for your oppressors and kill other Gadites, 70,000 Native American sisters have been missing since the 70s. Right? Now tell us pork is not killing us. Right? You have to keep the law. Keep reading. Salaki, was that it? Right? So what you find out is Mordecai, he turned around and he went and told the Jews, listen, we're going to fast for 3 days. And they did it. Right? Bracket Olive. Let's jump to 5 and 2. Chapter 5, verse 2.
Wakan. This is the book of Esther, chapter 5, verse 2. And it was so, when the king saw Esther the queen standing in the court, that she obtained favor in his sight.
Good night. Now listen. Again, any other woman would have got put to death. This sister, she was absolutely amazing. That when the king saw her, he was wondering, wait, it's been 30 days. Why didn't I come and see you before? Right? Now I know every brother has gone through this, right? You haven't seen your rib. You might, especially if a brother he doesn't live with his rib, right? Their schedules because of this slavery might not sync up all the time, and might be a week before they can see each other. It might be 3 days. If you live with your rib, it might be 8 hours because you got to go to work. But when she walks in, your heart starts to beat a little faster, right? And you start thinking about creating more children with her. So like that was the PG version. Good night, right? That was the PG version. You haven't seen your rib in a while, and you immediately start to think of, I think we need some more children. Let's put the kids to bed real quick, right? That's what this king is going through, right? Now let's find out, because she turned it on just a little stronger. Because again, she was a good sister. She knew her role. She knew how to be humble. Keep reading.
And the king held out to Esther the golden scepter that was in his hand.
And he said, come on to me. He's giving her permission. Keep reading.
So Esther drew near and touched the top of the scepter.
Right. Keep reading.
Verse 3. Then said the king unto her, what wilt thou, Queen Esther? And what is thy request? It shall be even given thee to the half of the kingdom.
Right. Keep reading.
Verse 4. And Esther answered, if it seem good unto the king, let the king and Haman come this day unto the banquet, that I have prepared for him.
Right. Now again, right? So first Esther, she got, in other words, she got dolled up, right? She put on oil, her beautiful raiments, her dresses, right? She got beautiful for for her man, right? Now, I even hate saying that because a sister is not supposed to be with a heathen. And listen, the only way that we're gonna rectify this situation is if we stop doing the works of our oppressor and start doing the works of our Lord, right? Our King, our power, right? And Esther, she got pretty in this moment. This ain't, listen, fake Israelites will tell you that sisters can't wear makeup. They'll tell you that a sister can't put on some jewelry and look pretty. She can't do her hair. She just has to look plain Jane. That doesn't make sense because the Israelite woman is the most beautiful woman in the world, right? It only makes sense that she she show her beauty for her husband, or if they're going out, she might modestly modestly put herself together, right? With class. Da, 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 da. So she prepared a feast for her king, right? And that's the next thing. A lot of times, again, we broke this down yesterday, sisters, your body only goes so far. Just ask any brother, they'll tell you this, right? A
Right.
real brother will tell you your body only goes so far, right? Listen, I'm a good night. They say Judah got some game, but listen, the some of the things a mother might tell a daughter from the tribe of Benjamin are some classic jewels, cold cuts, right? Nah, I know every Benjamite kid could say they've heard this. Every Benjamite heard a sister tell her daughter that that what do they say? They say picnic don't hold man, right? They're basically saying, like, listen, you could give that brother your box and you can have babies for him, but that might not keep him around, right? That's the harsh reality of 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 a man, right? Only in this school he's gonna learn to stick around. In the world, it doesn't matter what you give him. He's going when he wants to go, right? So there's absolutely nothing wrong with a sister getting dolled up. Your body is only going so far. It's the works that you could do for your husband that's going to keep him. That's going to keep his attention, right? You thinking that you go into the bedroom with him and that's gonna get you everything you want. When you could listen, you'll more get everything you want from your husband with a foot rub, making sure you act accordingly. Not stressing him out over things he cannot control. You know the whole world hates us, so he might not have the money as the oppressor does, right? The bills might come and they might be due. It might be hard, right? Not stressing him out over those bills when he's a man who does what he's supposed to do is gonna get you everything more than your body will. Salaki, what were you? I could drag
Chapter
it out
5,
for
verse
time.
5.
Keep it moving. Which one? Where were you?
Chapter 5, verse 5.
Right, 1 second. Jump down to da 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 da. Where are we? 5 verse 5. You could jump down to 12.
Kanawakan. Esther chapter 5, verse 12. Haman said, moreover, yea, Esther the queen did let no man come in with the king unto the banquet that she had prepared,
Wait,
but
Salakia,
myself.
Salakia, Salakia. Go to read verse 6.
Kanawakan. Esther chapter 5, verse 6. And the king said unto Esther at the banquet, what is thy petition? And what is thy request? Even
Right,
to
so
the
he's
half of the
asking her,
kingdom.
he's asking her, what do you want? Right? Again, you do something kind for your husband, he's gonna recognize it. And he's gonna turn around and be like, yeah, she's been doing such good works for me. I need to show her my gratitude. Right? Sisters in this school, they do good works all the time, and we present them publicly with flowers. We let the whole world know of their good works. Right? Keep reading.
Even to the half of the kingdom it shall be performed.
Right. Read 7.
Verse 7. Then answered Esther. So like then answered Esther and said, my petition and my request is,
You can keep reading.
Kanawakan, verse 8. If I found favor in the sight of the king, and if it please the king to grant my petition and to perform my request, let the king and Haman come to the banquet that I shall prepare for them.
Right. This is a cold sister. This sister, she knows chess moves. Right? She said the whole time she trying to expose what Haman's doing. Right? She said, King, bring you and your second in command to the banquet. Right? Salakia. You can read verse 9. Jump down to verse 9.
Kanawakan, verse 9. Then went Haman forth that day, joyful and with a glad heart. But when Haman saw Mordecai in the king's gate, that he stood not up, nor moved for him, he was full of indignation against Mordecai.
Right. So again, he hates that Mordecai doesn't bow down to him. And Mordecai, he's a strong brother. Mordecai's not going to bow down to him, right? So this Haman, he has to refrain from showing his anger at this moment, right? Da 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 da. So Haman, he calls his friends over, right? I'm just gonna paraphrase it just a little. He calls his friends over. They have a party. He tells them of his riches and the multitude of his children, right? And how the king promoted him and above the princes and the servants to the king, right? You can read verse 12 now.
Kanawakan, verse 12. Haman said, moreover, yea, Esther the queen did let no man come in with the king unto the banquet that she had prepared, but
Right.
myself.
So what's happening right now, right? This is just like every oppressor, right? Oppressors, they just feel themselves. You make them, you stroke their ego just a little bit, and they're on top of the world. Now Esther, she's a good chess player. Good night. This sister, she I could only imagine what she could do on the chessboard, right? Because she's thinking on her feet right now, right? And she said no other man but Haman is supposed to come in. Haman's excited. Listen, no other man but me and the maidens and the king and the king's queen are gonna have a dinner. Right? He's happy about that. Keep reading.
And tomorrow am I invited unto her also with the king.
Read.
Verse 13. Yet all this availeth me nothing, so long as I see Mordecai the Jew sitting at the king's gate.
Right. He said, listen, listen, you know when you're having a good day and you just see that heathen that always pisses you off? That's how Haman's feeling right now. But Haman is the heathen and Mordecai is the saint. Right? And just to see a black man in his righteousness pisses him off. That's why they hate when we're on the corners. That's why when we're on the corners, they want to try to move our speaker boxes across the line, and then they learn not to do that. Right? And we teach them. When they cross the line, they learn not to cross that line. Because in here, this is brotherhood. You are not going to put your hands on Sharywan without seeing a flying kick from me. Right? You are not going to put your hands on Barak Allah without seeing a punch coming from Sharywan. We're going to fall on you. Right? Pagai Bawa. We're going to fall on you, and it's going to be bad. Pray we don't have to say that word at camp. That's what you do. Pray we do not have to say that word.
Khan.
Keep reading.
Verse 14. Then said Zeresh his wife, and all his friends unto him, let a gallows be made of 50 cubits high, and tomorrow speak thou unto the king.
Right. So basically, Mordecai's wife, not Mordecai, Haman's wife is saying, make a gallows, right? A gallows. Read how high it was.
Be made of 50 cubits high.
Right? A gallows made 50 cubits high. That's basically the hangman's. It's what they hung people on, right? It's the hangman's stage. Right? Keep reading.
That Mordecai be hanged thereon.
Right. And she wants Mordecai hung on these gallows, right? Keep reading.
Then go thou in merrily with the king unto the banquet. And the thing pleased Aman, and he caused the gallows to be made.
He heard this and he said, damn, that's a good idea. And he decided to make these gallows, right? Because that's what they do. As soon as they get an invention in their mind, some invention in their mind that's going to be destroying black people, whether it be heroin in our community, whether it be legalizing weed in Canada. So listen, all the young children can smoke it. I'm seeing young children smoke more and more, right? And the age just keeps getting lower. Soon, if our oppressor has his ways, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans will be smoking weed at grade 3. If our oppressor has his way. Right? They thought, listen, I don't even know what they're thinking, because clearly our oppressor, he doesn't think about anything. Right? But he wanted these gallows made. That's what he wanted. He wanted crack cocaine in our community. He wanted a truck full of 2,000 guns to go missing in Ontario from Peterborough. Officer Sharywan, did you hear that one yet? Did you see that article?
Kamikaze, 10 minutes before class started yesterday, I briefly scanned over the article.
God, outside, we might have a battle this weekend, right? We might have a battle this weekend. This should be about the second week. There should be a battle, right? Outside of us not having a battle, we're going to go in on crack cocaine in our communities in the 80s and 2,000 guns going missing in Ontario. And you're going to find out that it's always the same thing, right? How does a truck full of 2,000 guns go missing? You would think, right? Now, check this out. Here's what I don't understand, right? We're stepping away from this for a quick second, right? We might go just a little bit over the time. Bear with us, right? Now, this is what I don't understand. My cell phone right here, it has GPS. I can turn on my location and find it. Apple devices, you can turn on their location and find them. There's a little thing that listen, criminals now are getting these Apple GPS things and sticking them in cars and tracking drug dealers, right? Yo, you thought you got the bag. You got the bag. 1 second now. You got the bag. 100 racks OT selling dog food. He thought he had the bag. And they put a little Apple whatever under his car and trailed him right to the spot and pistol whipped him until he gave up the bag and took his life. Listen, you just go watch the news. It's happening to a brother near you who's selling drugs right now. Shall you want?
So like, it's funny that you bring this out. They had oh man, it was maybe a month ago. So they had actually released an apology. I think the government of Canada released apology to the public in a news article because they had actually been tracking, secretly been tracking all of Canada via their cell phones.
Good,
Because
right.
they claimed they were trying to track the COVID, something about trying to track the I guess like how the COVID-19 was spreading. And so they had secretly been tracking all Canadian cell phones. Slovakia.
Good night. Now tell us they can't stop the drug trade in the midst of its path. Tell us that. That's what we want to hear. Tell us how you're fighting a war on drugs. That shit don't make no sense, right? They're fighting a war on drugs. Slovakia. 2,000 guns go missing in the city of Toronto, in the province of Ontario. You're telling me they couldn't turn on this cell phone right here with the GPS and throw it in the cap somewhere to find out where? Slovakia, Elon Musk is shooting rockets to the sky. How did you lose 2,000 guns? The answer is they didn't lose 2,000 guns. They're just bringing them to a neighborhood near you. Right? And then here's the crazy part. Sadly, a brother I grew up with in the world, right? Condolences to his family. Lord be with him and his family. His son was murdered yesterday, right? After 2,000 guns go missing in Ontario. That's crazy. Let's get back to our story, right? Haman, he made a gallows to kill us because they've always wanted to kill us. Crack cocaine, abortion, guns going missing, Christianity, right? Keep reading. Salakia, where were we? Was that 14? We finished 14, right? The water for that link, right? We finished 14. Shar, you want to take us to chapter 6? We're going to start at verse 10.
Concert. This is Esther chapter 6 and verse 10. Then the king said to Haman, "Make haste and take the apparel and the horse, as thou hast said, and do even so to Mordecai the Jew, that sitteth at the king's gate. Let nothing fail of all that thou hast spoken."
Right, listen, Haman was the king's number 2. And Haman, he wanted the Jews dead. The king wanted to grant what his number 2 wanted, like any leader would, right? Like any, well, not Commanding General YAHANNA, because Commanding General YAHANNA is not going to let you do something unrighteous, even if he likes you, right? But any leader in the world, you want You don't even care half the time what your number two says. You just want them to be pleased because they please you with their loyalty. So Haman positioned the king to kill the Jews, and the king said, "Listen, even the one who saved my life, that's to show you how much the heathens hate you. You're not supposed to do nothing for the heathens. Even the man who gave the information about the plot on his life, he said, take that man's life too. Now tell us the heathens love you." Right? Keep reading.
Verse 11. Then took Haman the apparel and the horse, and arrayed Mordecai, and brought him on horseback through the street of the city.
Right, hold that right there. Y'all didn't watch the video clips of the Haitian brothers in Acuna, right, at that border, where they were marching them with horses and whipping them. Y'all never seen that picture of the brother in Texas with his hands tied being walked down the street like it was 1492? Keep reading.
And proclaim before him, thus shall it be done unto the man whom the king delighteth to honor.
Salaki, I just lost my page. What were you reading out of 13?
Slack, I'm in verse 11, sir.
11. Time. Read that last part.
And proclaim before him, thus shall it be done unto the man whom the king delighteth to honor.
Listen, even though the king put your name in the books, I'm going to kill you, nigga. That's how they look at us. Even though you might own this record label, I'm going to put some dirt on your name. It doesn't matter if you jumped out the gym or ran that football down the field. We got a little smut on your name, and we're going to destroy you with it. And now you can't play football ever again because you put your hands on your wife. Right? But Ben Roethlisberger had a long football career, and the sexual abuse allegations are a mile long. Keep reading.
Verse 12. And Mordecai came again to the king's gate.
You know what? You could drop that right there, right? Jump down to 7, start at verse 4.
Come. For we are sold.
Actually, read up 1.
Verse 3. Then Esther the queen answered and said, if I have found favor in thy sight, O king, and if it please the king, let my life be given me at my petition.
Now, again, this is a bad sister. She about to risk it all. You ever see those memes, right? Where like you'll see a old brother, he'll turn around and he'll look at his sister, a young sister, a sister that's built like a brick house, and he's down there breaking his neck, and on the meme they say he was ready to risk it all. Right? This is Esther right now. She's ready to risk it all. This is right. They're at the banquet. Haman's there. She's kind of acting a little sad, right? The king's trying to figure out what is going on with you. I came to the banquet. Why are you all sad now? Right? Again, this sister, she's a good chess player. She has it all figured out. She knows what she's doing. She knows how to use her femininity, right? Sisters think I'm independent. Like that's a good thing. Nah, you being masculine, sis. You want to lead men. You being masculine, sis. Right? It's better to be in your femininity. Remember we said a rose is better in the ground? Well, a sister is better feminine. Keep reading. Salakia, where were we? What did we just read? 4? Yeah, you can
End of
read
verse
4.
3, sir.
3. Oh, Khan. 3. That was the end of 3, right?
We're at the end of 3, sir.
Khan, you can read.
And my people at my request.
Right. Let her life be given giving me at my people. Like she's basically petitioning for her people's lives, right? That's what she's saying. She's saying like, listen, spare our people, right? I got something to ask for my people, right? Keep reading.
Verse 4. For we are sold, I and my people, to be destroyed, to be slain, and to perish.
Right. So she's letting him know. Listen, there's a plot for us to be killed right now. That's what she's letting him know. Keep reading.
But if we had been sold for bondmen and bondwomen, I had held my tongue, although the enemy could not countervail the king's damage.
Right. Right. So basically, what she's saying there, right? She's playing her role, and she's not being selfish, right? And she's letting the king know that listen, there's a person that's coming out to destroy us at this moment, right? And again, because this sister is such a Slovakia. One moment. Right? Because this sister has courage and she's strong and she's smart, right? Listen, there are many sisters who have courage, who are strong and smart, and they know their role and they play it perfectly, right? They don't try to usurp authority over a man, right? Keep reading.
Come.
What was that? That was Salaki. That was the end of 4. Go jump to 6.
Come, sir. Verse 6. And Esther said, the adversary and enemy is this wicked Haman.
Right, because the king turned around and said, "My baby, what has her so upset? Who's this man?" You know how it goes. Like, listen, hey, you see your rib crying, and you find out that someone pissed her off. You want to get down to the bottom of it, right? You want to figure out exactly what is happening, right? That's what this sister is doing. She had this heathen king eating out of her hands. She wound him up and spun him like a spinning top. And he's just spinning. He doesn't know what to do. And Haman, he was having a good day. He thought that this was a banquet of celebration. It's going to turn into a horror movie for him. Watch, I'll show you. Keep reading.
Then Haman was afraid before the king and the queen. Verse 7.
You could jump down to 10.
Come.
Jump down to 10.
Come, sir. So they hanged Haman on the gallows that he had prepared for Mordecai.
Right. So Haman, he was hung on the gallows, the same one he prepared for Mordecai. Now, Salakia, right? I've kept the same theme the whole night, right? Now I need one of you guys to break down how this is happening to us today, right? The oppressor set a trap for us and walked right into it. Any of the Akim can give it a shot. Just think about something I've talked about. I brought it up a couple times during this class. Right? It was a trap laid for blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. And now this same snare, this same trap is working against our oppressor.
Salakia, Ottawa. There's two things that come to mind, sir. Salakia. Is one of them making our people sterile?
Khan, that is something, right? That is one of them, but that's not exactly the one I had in mind. Because in their attempt to make us sterile, they're not having as much babies, right?
Con.
But that's not exactly the one I had in mind.
Con, so Salaki, and if I may, and the other one I was thinking was all the drugs that they push in our communities.
Right. Right. All the damn drugs they push in our communities. Right. And that's what it is, right? They set up all the drugs for us, and now heroin is ravishing the suburbs. Percocets and the pills are destroying Caucasian families, and now it's a terrible thing, and we got to put millions into these programs. Biden just said he's giving out crack pipes, and America freaking out. Listen, I don't understand now. Shout out to our brothers and sisters in America. They be freaking out down there. Biden's giving out crack pipes. Listen, they've been giving out crack pipes in Canada. They've been giving those out since so long. Do not click on any of these Russian bots. Listen, Ukrainian and Russian bots, y'all need to worry about fighting each other, man. Us in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, we got our liquor and our popcorn ready. We trying to watch it. Get on the show.
Yeah, we waiting.
Yeah, man. Give us season 2. We're waiting. Right, that's exactly it. Mordecai found himself a victim of heroin. He wanted the heroin for us. You know, his grandkids is using it. Good night. They leaning over on the subway with their little Edomite grandbabies looking dusty, like the baby was rolled around in the chair. Good night. You know, Charlie Brown, the character that always had the dust just wrapping around it. That's what these Edomite babies are looking like on the train with their mother and father leaning off some dope.
God.
Right. Where were we? We were in verse 6.
We're in verse 10.
We finished? Okay, yeah, Khan. You can finish verse 10.
Come. Then was the king's wrath pacified.
Right. Then was the king's wrath pacified. He said, you tried to hurt my wife and her peoples. And he slaughtered that man. Listen, this is the same king that was riding around into cities with he's sending his messengers into cities with the heads of the former kings. Right? Now he's doing it on the far left. On the righteous side, Christ is going to be having the heads of many kings. He's going to have those crowns. The crowns of many kings, meaning he's overthrowing many nations. Because these heathens aren't going to just stop. Right? These heathens aren't just going to, they're just not going to go away. Shabbat, yeah. Right? And even for the precepts, for what we just read in Esther 7:4-6, right? You could precept Psalms 141 and 10, 38 and 12, or 9, Psalms 9 and 6, right? So Psalms 141 and 10, Psalms 38 and 12, Psalms 9 and 6, right? Now let's jump to, we got a few more verses real quick we're going to read. Let's jump to verse 8. Chapter 8. Chapter 8, start at verse 5, Officer Shariwan.
Come. Verse 5. And said, if it please the king, and if I have found favor in his sight.
Right, hold that. So after all this, the king, he held out his scepter to Esther and basically said, like, listen, like, I'm sorry if you are hurt. What do you want, right? And this is her reply.
And the thing seemed right before the king, and I be pleasing in his eyes. Let it be written to reverse the letters devised by Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the Agagite.
Right. So she's saying, listen, if it pleases you, let those letters be reversed. Right? Let those letters be reversed so my people aren't killed. Keep reading.
which he wrote to destroy the Jews, which are in all the king's provinces.
Go ahead.
For how can I endure to see the evil that shall come unto my people?
Read.
Or how can I endure to see the destruction of my kindred?
And this is how you know what Officer Sharywan just read is super heavy. This sister said, how could I endure to see the destruction of her people? Right? The Christian pastor doesn't feel this way.
Right.
Your politicians that you vote for don't feel this way. Your so-called leaders, your celebrities don't feel this way. Now look at the sad state of affairs we're in. You have a few celebrities and DJs and a couple Edomites saying we're not playing drill music no more, especially if you're name dropping. Right? Well, this should have been the way for all of gangster rap. Right? All of the rap that's telling you to sell drugs and kill your own. That should have been the way. But again, the people in power don't care. Not your pastors, not your imams, not your celebrities, not your social media influencers. Right? You know who cares? The men that Commandant General YAHANNA is raising up. And every day I see another post. Commandant General YAHANNA has done it again.
Right.
Another trooper to a 50. Another sister with a name. Another young man to a trooper. Another fit 500 turned into 1,000, and captains, and good night, babies being born. Because this is a place of love. This is the greatest place I've ever been in my whole life. I'm not leaving for nothing.
Right.
Listen. Now, even for somehow I find myself to be weak and a coward and find myself out of this body, I'm gonna be right by the door.
God.
I'm gonna be, if there's a school, I've listened, Lord allow a school gets built in Canada, in Toronto, we have a physical spot, and I'm not here no more, right? I'm gonna be right up against that glass with my ear to the glass. I'm trying to hear. I could go watch it on YouTube, but I need my ear to the glass. Right? Shamana's gonna come and say, "Listen, young man, you got to get the hell out of here. You're a dishonorable brother." So like, I'm gonna stop. Right?
Good.
I was just showing you, I can't leave, man. There's nothing else. There's nothing
Right.
else. I can't. Even worse, I can't be a BTICH ASS nigga and go talk about this place only to go join something that is like a freak show compared to here.
God.
A body with a short arm, right? Listen, these other schools, these other camps, it's like a full arm and an arm that stops at the elbow. It's no good. There's no use to us. You can't do nothing for us. Having Hamites getting boot kisses and all types of disgusting acts. All right, let's keep reading. We gotta finish this out.
God, sir. Verse 7. Then the king Ahasuerus said unto Esther, the queen, and to Mordecai the Jew, Behold, I have given Esther the house of Haman, and him they have hanged upon the gallows, because he laid his hand upon the Jews. Verse 8.
Right. So in all, listen, this sister, she because of her humbleness, she saved the nation. That he was stripped of all his power. He gave up the ghost. Right. He gave up the spirit and he died. He died because he wanted us to die. And the Lord doesn't want us to die. Even though we die every day in the ghetto, even though we die from drugs, from the hands of oppressors, from the hands of our own brothers and sisters, from the hands of ourselves. Right? The Lord doesn't want us. He's just punishing us. He's going to bring us right back And hopefully all the brothers, I got brothers and sisters who I hope they can come back. I hope they rise again in the kingdom without sin.
Gone.
I hope they rise again, not knowing what the hell a Christmas is.
Right.
It's only something we talked about in the past. Yeah, them stupid heathens, they used to celebrate some fat Edomite coming down the chimney. The Edomite was so fat he couldn't even fit down the chimney. They said it was magic. They used to celebrate that stupid nonsense. I hope, I pray, right? I pray, I do the works of the Most High so this could happen. Keep reading.
Verse 8. Write ye also for the Jews, as it liketh you, in the king's name, and seal it with the king's ring. For the writing which is written in the king's name, and sealed with the king's ring, may no man reverse.
So this is the decree that no man can reverse. Right? Only the king can reverse it. Right? Keep reading.
Verse 9. Then were the king's scribes called at the time in the 3rd month, that is the month Sivan, and the 23rd day thereof. And it is written according to all that Mordecai commanded unto the Jews, and to the lieutenants, and the deputies and rulers of the provinces which are from India unto Ethiopia, and 127 provinces.
All right, you could hold that right there, right? That's basically just letting you know, like throughout the whole earth knew that you couldn't touch the Jews at this moment.
Right.
And one day the whole earth is going to know again that you cannot touch the Jews. Right? They're kind of understanding, but they're not really understanding. They haven't really made the connection that the Lord sent the plague because of their BS. Right? But we're out there telling them. We're out here waking up our peoples. Right? You think it's gonna get better. Good man. They just turned around and said, we're about to start treating the COVID like a regular flu. They're about to start learning how to live with it. Because they know we can't beat God. Right? Jump down to 11. That was a shot.
Verse 11. Wherein the king granted the Jews which were in every city to gather themselves together, and to stand for their life, to destroy, to slay, and to cause to perish all the power of the people and province that would assault them, both little ones and women, and to take the spoil of them for a prey.
Right, so the king's basically saying, listen, the nations that are going to come up against you, you get to go slaughter them. That's what he's giving them permission to do. Right? We're going to jump to chapter 9. You can start at 20 right quick.
Esther chapter 9 and verse 20. And Mordecai wrote these.
Salaki, Officer Shaywan, you could drop that. Baraki Allah, get us 9 and 20. Officer Shaywan, prepare the sign out links, Baba Kasha.
Come on, sir.
Esther chapter 9, verse 20. And Mordecai wrote these things, and sent letters unto all the Jews that were in all the provinces of the king Ahasuerus, both nigh and far.
Keep reading.
Verse 21. To establish this among them, that they should keep the 14th day of the month Adar, and the 15th day of the same yearly.
Right. So while we're celebrating this memorial, right, and the whole earth is out there committing whoredom, and sisters were last night giving out box that they're not getting text messages about today. Sisters were taking on husbands that left them, and listen, the husband don't want them, right? We're celebrating this because we know our history. The Lord, the Barakatah Yahweh Yahushai, because the Lord let this secret knowledge come back into the earth. And now we understand who we are. And we see that how they've always tried to kill us. They absolutely always tried to kill us. Right? And it's good, man. It's always been the same thing. They just want us dead. Right? But what we have to do is turn back to our power. Keep reading.
Verse 22. As the days wherein the Jews rested from their enemies, and the month which was turned unto them from sorrow to joy.
Right, in that month, we went from, damn, we're about to be murdered, to the people trying to murder us are being killed. Come on, you can keep reading.
And from Salakia, and from morning into a good day, that they should make them
Right. Keep reading.
that they should make them days of feasting and joy, and of sending portions one to another, and gifts to the poor.
Right. So as you keep reading from 20 down, you're gonna find out that we had a celebration and we kept this celebration for generations. We kept this celebration so long that we're celebrating it tonight and we're bringing it to a close tonight. Right? That's what's going on. We're celebrating a honorable sister. So many sisters in the world dishonor themselves. They act like they don't have no fathers. They just don't want to put on any clothes. They just don't want to keep one husband. They just don't want to be in order at all. They want to get up and teach men the scriptures. They want to teach, and this is the worst part. When they try to teach, they try their best to teach men the scriptures, and all they're doing is teaching us to put on the leaves of the other nations, just like Eve did Adam. It's just the same thing over and over again. Right? So again, you can keep reading from 20 down to 30. We are over the time, right? I know everyone got slavery and whatnot in the morning and children to get to, right? But you can read from 20 down to 30, down, finish out the chapter, and you're gonna find out that this is the feast of Purim that we're celebrating, right? This is the feast that we're supposed to celebrate because this is our culture. Our culture is not a Valentine's Day. It's not a Christmas. Right? Our culture is not doing what the heathens want us to do. Right? Our culture is doing what the Most High wants us to do. That's the only thing you're supposed to do. What the Most High wants us to do. And you know what the Most High wants us to do? Right? Is two things. Well, Salakia. I'm going to tell you what the Most High wants us to do, and I'm going to tell you what I want you to do, right? And it's the damn same thing as what the Most High wants to do, right? The Most High wants us to obey Him and love each other. And us loving each other is obeying Him. That's what He wants. What I want you to do is not click on these links from the Russian bots. Go pop some popcorn, make some fresh cookies, and go watch CNN for a little and just chill out and enjoy the show. These are the commercials, the previews, the movies about to start. It's getting good. Right? So once again, I'm Officer 1000 Zabaja. This is the closing of the Feast of Purim. Right? I'm going to hand the class over to Officer 500 Shariwan. Give a shout out to Trooper Barak Allah, all the sisters that are in here, right? All the sisters that decided to change their life, right? And we're going to remember that. Again, you want your good works to be mentioned. Like listen, twerked before. I don't remember her name. I don't even remember what she looks like. She looked like 1,000 sisters that twerked before. I seen a sister naked at Caravana before when I was in the world. I don't remember her name. I don't care what happened to her. Now, I'm hoping she found the truth. Right? And I'm not saying I don't care what happened to her. I'm just saying, like, if she ain't in here, but listen, we pray she gets in here. Right? But Esther, we remember her name. There are sisters in our school right now. We remember their name. We know them. Right? Again, I'm Officer 1000 Salakia. I'm Officer 1000 Zabaja of the ISUPK under Commander General YAHANNA. We teach blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are the Israelites of the Bible, and you have to love each other. Right? Shalom. Wrap it up.
These are the I.S.U.P.K security announcements. We are the I.S.U.P.K, start out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for new brothers and sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. They need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. Numbers 18, verse 21, and Malachi chapter 3, verses 8 to 10. Ma'ishra means tenth in the Hebrew. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to Treasury Department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocations. We have the Passover, the 53rd annual Passover coming up next. We're just closing tonight, the Feast of Purim. Get a hold of your camp leader if you want more information on the Passover. To any brother who wants to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black. Boots, shirts, pants, headband, and scarf. With that said, we're going to give one courtesy salute to the brothers. Men of Israel, I.M.A.D.I.U.M, which means stand. We're going to give one courtesy salute to the brothers. Men of Israel, I.M.A.D.I.U.M Shabbat. I.M.A.D.I.U.M, Barak. Yahweh Shema Hashem Yad Yamatah. Sorry, we're going to give one courtesy salute to the sisters. Men of Israel, I.M.A.D.I.U.M Shabbat. I.M.A.D.I.U.M, Barak. Yahweh Shema Yad Yamatah. Class dismissed.